Okay, it was hard, right? Now let's see the correction. And when you say correction, there are many possibilities sometimes. So don't think that if the words that you have found is not the same as mine, that you are necessarily wrong. Okay? Alright, so let's start with the first sentence. Okay, exercise 1A. Most people usually manage to remain on reasonably good terms. Okay, so I suggest good terms, to be on good terms with neighbors or with friends, is to get on well with neighbors or friends. So I repeat, most people usually manage to remain on reasonably good terms with their neighbors. Okay? This is made easier, this is made easier in many cases by the fact that couples at work during the day and often visiting relatives at weekends may have little contact with their neighbors. Okay, so visiting, you use an ing because the subject is not close to the verb, so use an ing. Alright, I continue. However, disagreements and even bitter quarrels are by no means, M-E-A-N-S, uncommon. They are by no means uncommon. It means that they are, of course, common. They are very common. Okay? I continue. Neighbors' pets, in particular, their cats. So we specify cats here, okay? Because cats do not respect any limits. They can go to your neighbors without asking for permission. All right. So I repeat: neighbors' pets, in particular, their cats recognize no boundaries to private property, and their intrusion may be resented by a neighbor who does not share their owner's affection for them. Okay? Alright, so when your cats go to your neighbor's house, they may not necessarily appreciate the intruder because maybe they don't like cats. Alright? I continue. Alright, so the neighbors regard his broken plants, with justifiable anger. Okay, with anger you can have many other synonyms, like what can be the synonym of anger? We talked about annoyance the other day, do you remember? Annoyance, irritation, or resentment. Annoyance, irritation, or resentment. Alright, so I repeat the previous sentence just to make sure that everything's clear. Alright, neighbors' pets, in particular their cats, recognize no boundaries to private property, and their intrusion may be resented by a neighbor who does not share their owner's affection for them and regards his broken plants with justifiable anger, irritation, resentment, or what else? Annoyance. Full stop. Okay, I continue. Children seeking lost balls. To seek, S-E-E-K. To seek is the synonym of to look for. Okay? Remember, just one word every time. This is why you have an ing. Okay? Children seeking lost balls in neighbors' gardens without permission. I'm sure that you could easily find that word. Okay? Without permission, and helping themselves to apples and flowers on the way. You help yourself when you take something without asking for permission. It's like when you, for example, go to a party and there is self-service, okay? And you help yourself, okay? No one is giving you food, you just take food on your own, okay? I repeat, without permission and helping themselves to apples and flowers on the way, frequent parties continuing into the small hours. Small hours is very early in the morning, like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I continue. Sarcastic remarks about next door's plaster rabbits overheard from the nearby lawn. Yes, sometimes neighbors, they can be very unkind to each other, to one another. Okay, they criticize one another, and the criticism or the gossip can be heard from the other end of the fence. Alright, I continue. Sarcastic remarks about next door's plaster rabbits overheard from the nearby lawn. You overhear something when you happen to hear it by accident. Okay? You didn't mean to listen, but you just heard it. Okay? That's overhearing. So for number 14, what are we going to put here? Okay. Smoke. Okay, because we're talking about fire here. Smoke from smoldering bonfires blackening the freshly laundered linen or freshly laundered clothes. Okay, I repeat, smoke. Smoke because we're talking about bonfires. Okay, it's like when people are lighting a fire outside because they are having a party, okay, or a barbecue. It's also possible. So there is smoke coming from that, and it can blacken, meaning it can make the clothes that have been washed by the neighbors black. Okay, they have done their laundry, and on the other side of the fence, the neighbors are having a barbecue, or they're lighting a fire, they're burning something, and the smoke from that can damage the neighbors' clothes, which are put to dry outside. Okay? Alright, I continue. So freshly laundered, number 15, linen, L-I-N-E-N, L-I-N-E-N, or you can also say clothes. Okay? But linen is a more general term, but clothes is very specific. And I don't think that when people do their laundry, they only wash clothes. Okay, they can wash different things. I continue. All these irritations can result. What do we use after result? Result in. Okay, all these irritations can result in angry words and even references to solicitors and lawsuits. Okay, so here we're talking about taking things to court, because when the fight between neighbors is getting serious, we can take things to court. We can call the police. Okay, right. However, I continue. However, harmony is more common than discord. The garden fence serves as a meeting place for housewives. Okay, once again we need a verb here, but remember, you use just one word, so use an ing. Okay, for housewives, discussing, number 18, discussing food prices and the previous evening's TV, while husbands compare car performance and weed killers. Yet the attitude of a good-natured friend of mine is still surprisingly common. The people at number 49 are a thorough nuisance. Do you remember nuisance? We talked about a nuisance the other day. A nuisance is an annoying person, okay? Or an annoying animal or an annoying thing. So it depends. Are a thorough nuisance. Be careful with the spelling of nuisance, N-U-I-S-A-N-C-E. Screaming kids, a yapping dog, and an eternally blaring transistor. But we're lucky in those at 45. Such nice people. In fact, we hardly ever see or hear them. We hardly ever see or hear them. Okay, so it means that the less you see your neighbors, the more you like them. Okay?